Well, very good morning and welcome back here to Central Coast Sporting and Recreation Complex in the heart of Tuggerah for the Junior Regionals 2023 New South Wales Touch Football Championships. James Preston and Deacon Cameron to bring you all the action here in the 14 girls division between the Northern Eagles, who'll get first use of the ball, and the Hunter Western Hornets. Deacon, this one should be a good fixture.
Yeah, it should be a good game here. Both teams have a couple of wins with the Hunter Western Hornets early on yesterday, and Eagles got a win as well, and it's middle of the table clash and it's finals here, so both teams are important win here, especially leading into the finals and finals positioning.
Yeah, of course, coming into this match, the Eagles in 6th, Hunter Western Hornets in 3rd. Eagles with first use of the ball, and they'll play it here on the last, 7 away from the try line. Good pressure though from the Hornets, stepped up, made the touch. No real questions to answer, so they work it away from their own end now. Touch coming in, they head towards that sideline area to get those fresh players onto the field, and the transition's a pretty good one too, nice and smooth. Up over halfway they come now. Quick hands here out for Ellers. Ellers on the follow-up once more, here she comes, crabbing through the centre of the field. Last play now, still an option to this right-hand side. Ellers is there, but they jam in, make the touch. A good one in the end there from the Eagles.
Yeah, good defence then from the Eagles. They weren't too rushed, they were composed, and they stood on their man on their girls, and Hornets were throwing a little bit at them, but the defence was good for the Eagles, and Hornets will look to defend here as Eagles try and work the ball out of their half.
Good run from Darcy Gleeson, and now on the follow-up they head to the middle of the field, wrapping around to this open left-hand side, and then straight in here from Honey Cook. And now running at pace with an option on the outside too. It's Flanders, and Flanders can't get any way through. There's no ding-dong-diddly-oo.
Good attack then from the Eagles, but the Hornets' defence was really good there. Both teams are willing to throw the ball around here, and the defence is winning it for both teams as well. And as Hornets get some fresh legs on and they pass the ball, and that's Callahan who catches it. It's questionable pass there, and
I think more than questionable. It has come back though for the initial touch, so perhaps unlucky for the Eagles girls not to also get the benefit of a touch pass potentially, but still the last here for the Hornets, stepping off the left foot, nearly opening up a gap and just shutting very quickly. So their scramble's been good so far, Deacon.
Yeah, the Eagles' defence has been good. They're scrambling, they're not rushing too much, and they probably got a bit unlucky with that call then. It could have been a touch pass, could have been forward, but referees on the spot then, and Hornets will just look to defend and try to keep Eagles in their half here.
Well, there is the commentator's curse. Welcome to the booth, Deacon Cameron. You've had yours. I think that now makes every single person I've called alongside having at least one so far throughout the tournament. Here we are on day 2. Finals not too far around the corner, and the Hornets not too far away from the try line. So they keep cycling the ball through the middle. Callahan, and now that one goes to deck though. So it was building nicely for them, but just coming unstuck at that crucial moment.
Yeah, just probably a little bit too rushed there, Hornets. Probably not the play they were after. But Eagles' defence has been good. They're not rushed. They're not getting too sucked in, and it's really good to see. And then they're going to look to drive out here, and they're just going to try to keep it simple here and not try to give away any errors.
So now fling the ball out here from Rodonicus. Then hops in at acting half on the follow-up. Must release now. She's in trouble here, Rodonicus. That ball's gone well forward. Tom Brady's hopped onto the pitch.
Yeah, referees all over that one. Forward pass there, and we've seen it, and you've probably seen it live at home. And Hornets will look to drive to their box here, and that's all, and they play it on half, and they get it away there. That's Perrinan, and Callahan beats one, and it's all in at half again.
Now pushing through here is Young. Young playing it about 15 away from the try line, turns it back now for Trasler. Trasler plays it nice and quickly, and they've got them offside. They'll float a pass over the top. There was an opportunity there, just didn't quite connect.
Yeah, probably a little bit unlucky there with the Hornets one. The referee called play on, and probably didn't hear it much, and they could have taken the advantage there and didn't really execute there, and hasn't been too promising from the Hornets on the line, but their defence has been good, and they're keeping Eagles in this half as referee calls play on, and they're going to gain some metres here, and yeah, so we've got no advantage then for the people watching it onside, so the girls have to make it back to 7, and referees will try to play advantage as much as possible, but if they're unable to play advantage, we'll get a penalty, and that's what we've seen then.
Certainly is the case. They head up towards halfway, and now just slightly over it on play number 2. So full set to work with here. Midway through the count now, they come over to this left-hand side through Gleeson, the Port Macquarie product, and play it 10 metres into enemy territory now. Gleeson shows left, goes right, then straightens here with Cook. Now a little bit of an opportunity to build. Oh, they've just missed out on that strike dump at the end though. Didn't quite make the mark. Comes out to Medlin. Medlin can't meddle with the defence, and that will be the turnover.
Yeah, Pretty good option then from the Eagles. They've killed it in the corner then, and they've just got to really defend it. They just can't afford to let the Hornets
Well, here we go, though. The Hornets are off now. They're looking to put the sting in. They'll get caught just shy of that halfway mark. Good cover defense on that occasion from the Eagles. They'll play it quickly. Now Ella's into the fray. She turns it back on the inside. Good momentum about this set. They pick it up and go. Eagleton looking for support. It's Ella's through the middle, but they make the touch again. The scramble has been excellent from the Eagles. Ella's pointing, directing traffic. Picks it up on the last. Ella's shows it once. Now turns it here for Fitzhenry. Fitzhenry looking to fit into a gap. Can't find it. And ultimately the Eagles again turn them away.
Yeah, the Eagles' defense has been really good for them. They're not rushed on the line. They're just scanning their players, not overshooting off the line, and their defense has been really good. I'm sure Hornets will crack the wall soon, but Eagles' defense has been phenomenal. So is their attack, and it's probably a questionable pass off the ruck, but referees are going to call play on. And we're going to see a penalty for offside here. Fabian Yam explaining to the players, you must make it back the full 7 metres.
So Fabian Yam on the spot there, the referee. Now it comes away for the Eagles. Good field position here to start things off with. As Cook plays it. Now they come up through the middle again. Flanders with good metres. That's back-to-back penalties now for the Eagles. Easy little march upfield, and they'll get a decent look at the line here.
Yeah, it's going to be their first real attacking set that they've had inside their 7, and the Hornets, they can't afford to give away any penalties here. They're trying to slow it down, but Eagles are going to go on the attack.
Here comes Cook now, looking to cook them, and has she done exactly that? She gets very low very quickly. They'll just double check here, the referees. I think they're going to say, no, didn't get there in time, but that will be the first penalty inside the 7.
Yeah, so I'll do a little bit of explaining then. So the offside player made the touch, but there was an onside player who made the touch as well, so we can't have the play on and score the try, so we just see the penalty there.
Geez, it was a good opportunity to push all the way deep through into that line. Of course, can't score from acting half, but perhaps a little opportunity just to hold onto the ball a bit longer on that occasion. Maybe a chance going begging there, but it is now played from Morris. Morris points back to the right, but crabs across the left herself, and now they get the little wraparound working with Flanders. Flanders, what a ball that is! Beautiful pass out in front, and Keating goes in. The Coffs Hurricanes product is swirling, building, scoring, try time for the Eagles.
Yeah, really good finish then from the young Eagles winger. The Hornets defence just couldn't really read them then. They were really organised and structured on the line, the Eagles. They drew them in one way, and then the opening on the winger, and they got the try then, but Hornets aren't out of this yet. The attack's been really strong, and we'll see the ball as Callaghan gets in at half, and that's driving through there. That's Young, and Callaghan again. She'll look to suck him out here, throws the dummy left, and see what they can do in. That's Young again. Plays the ball quickly. Callaghan in at half. Diving for the line is Young. Referee calls play on, and it's try.
Wonderful effort there from Jari Young, the Newcastle product. Dove from a great distance. Excellent stretch, and that is something we see as more and more come into the game over the past few years, is the dive coming from these younger age groups. Often there's a bit of a tentative approach about it.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to teach them at a young age now, is you just got to get low and dive, and don't be afraid to have a dive. And most of the time, well, that's the questionable pass there, and referees have called play on, so we're going to go with it. But back to the dive, and it's really exciting to see these young players not afraid and just get low and have a dive.
So here's Teal, and then the little wraparound, nearly controlled with the back of the leg, Sonny Bill Williams style from about 10 years ago, if you remember that. But they come forward here. The Hunter Western Hornets, option back through the middle. Big dummy comes across, fools them all, including me. I looked the wrong way. Now it comes across here for Channels, who's looking to create a bit of a channel for herself. A nice opening here. They pass it on with Trasler. At pace now, putting the foot down. Say good night. Abby Eagleton spreads the wings and soars for a try.
Yeah, good finish then from Abby Eagleton. She's really fast, and a bit of a fun fact for Abby Eagleton, is actually brother to Will Eagleton, who was the player of the final at our men's Open State Cup, playing for the Doylestown Dragons. So it's good to see a couple of Doylestown players playing in this Hornet side right now.
So that will be the Eagles here who get to tap it off, and my co-commentator Deacon Cameron's copying a bit of a gobful here from some of the Hunter Western Hornets coaching staff and girls. Don't you worry too much, DC. You're all good, buddy. They'll float it out here, the Eagles. And now wrapping around here is Medlin. Medlin again looking for an opening. Last play now for the Eagles. They turn it back towards the middle. Gleason, short pass there, jamming in nicely, shutting it down is Channels.
Yeah, good defense then from the Hunter Western Hornets, and Eagles are really good on the line. They're looking positive, but the Hornets defense has been really good as they're going to drive the ball and try get some fresh legs on.
Nice meters here from the Hornets, and the transition, a very smooth one on this occasion. Fitzhenry picks up easy meters, and now Manning pops the pass for Ellis, back against the grain, changing the angle nicely here. Last play now once more. They've got them backpedaling. They're offside, surely. Oh, they've just managed to get there in time. I think it might have been the touch from Medlin in the end.
Yeah, it's questionable if they made it back, but referees called them onside. Touch was made, and we're going to go with them on there, and Eagles look to drive the ball out.
A couple of dummies coming in here from the Eagles as the reinforcements arrive, and they head up towards halfway before changing that angle once more. Good work through the middle though from Young. Managed to take two at once, and now they pop a pass here for Morris. Quick play the ball. Morris again involved. Very late pass. In fact, I think it might be called a touch pass. Yes, it is.
Yeah, good call then from referees, and late pass, and James has caught it up here, and Hornets are going to look to get some of their key players on here. Right now it's Ellis, and she'll give them the inside, and Fitzhenry, and tippy toe with the sideline, and referee Atika Scott has called ball down. And let's see if Eagles can pounce on this error from the Hornets as they look to go left, and it's Walker, and sit at half then is Flanders, and play the ball, and Flanders takes it all there. She's overrun that. They're a little bit scrambling in the box here, and they play the ball, and that's on at half, and throws a dummy, and good play there, and an inner hooker then. She's going to try to take him on, and she's through, and she throws a pass, and it's referee's going to send it back.
One there, but that will now be the last here for the Eagles. Now try and open up some sort of passage down a very narrow short side, but nothing really doing there, Deacon Cameron.
Yeah, they just a little bit rushed to get on from the box then, and it didn't really work for them. They just got to try and get in there and drive to the box and work out who's coming on and who's going off, and it didn't really work for them. And Callahan plays the ball.
Oh, I was about to say good meters there from Callahan. Unfortunately, she's left it behind. And now the Eagles have a chance to work it away from their own end. They've got pretty decent field position to start the set with, about 5 shy of halfway as they come midway through the set count now. They'll get those reinforcements on the field, but they've got to arrive pretty quickly. There's only 3 involved in the play at the moment. Eventually, they're there, and now they shift it wider still. And unfortunately, an awkward play, the ball goes to ground. That is the changeover, so they can't impact the scorer sheet on this occasion.
It didn't really work for them that set, the Eagles. They've just got to defend hard, and they're going to see a ball down there, and this is what they need. They're going to start the ball just over halfway, and they've just got to really work and have an actual crack inside the 7 as play the ball, and that's Gleason, and at half then is Medlin, and up there's Collins, and again then it's Gleason, and she plays the ball, and we've got some numbers here, and really going to drive hard, and that's a good run there from Cook.
Yeah, it does well here, the Eagles, and now they pop back in with Morris. Morris slowing it here for just a moment to Cook. Back against the grain. Flanders picks it up, has a crack herself. Flanders threatening to go long. They read it well. Good defence back on the inside from Eve Power, who showed plenty of power in defence.
Yeah, good defence then from Hornets, but the Eagles' attack was really strong then. They just unfortunately couldn't execute and get the tries. You're going to play tippy-toe with the sideline here, and Hornets are just gaining too many easy meters for them.
Up to halfway now as Manning pops in at acting half, and they threaten to link back up with her once more, but now they'll pop it towards the middle with Perini, and now picked up, and they scoot through Hall. Hall running at an offside player. It's Cook. It's play on here for Hall, looking to link up now. They've got there in time.
Touch made.
Good defence from the Eagles, because that ball was mid-flight, and she just made sure to keep the track on her. So they've got 2 more plays now. Can they still work for the strike dump through the middle? That's what they'll be after here. They get half of one, and now they'll look to link up out wide. And unfortunately, the winger just far too much space in between that middle position.
Yeah, good scrambling defence then from the Eagles, but it was really good eyes-up footy from the Hornets player. She scooped through, knew the players were offside. Referee called play on, and the scrambling defence from the Eagles, they probably staved a try then, and they've just really got to drive and work to get up the field.
That's what Flanders does. She heads straight towards that box, and they get fresh troops back out there now. Not a bad little sweep on from their substitutions as they now come up towards halfway, but again, aggressive in defence here, the Hornets. They're getting up in the faces. There's not a great deal of meterage being made here, and they get an awkward play the ball on the last, so that will be it here for the Eagles. A very good defensive set from the Hornets.
A good defensive set from the Hornets, so just a little bit unstructured than the Eagles. There was no one there for half, and they wasted a couple touches, and it's probably not what the coaching staff are going to be after. But Hornets are going to look to pounce on in. They pass the ball, and that's Cash with the ball, and chucks it inside ball to Translo, and again there, Cash is going to take him on.
Well, Cash again looking to cash in here with a bit of an opportunity. They step against the grain, beat the first attempted touch, not the second though. Back to the 7 they go. They'll get one more crack at them. Cash flings it on here for Trasler. Wider still now for Channels. No channel opening up though for Manning. That is the changeover, and I must say, despite having a lot of pressure against their line, they have dealt with it pretty well here, the Eagles.
Yeah, the defence has been really good, and you're going to get done for over the mark as they just chuck the commentator's curse on them, but their defence has been really good, so hopefully they can hold Hornets out, and they're going to...
I'd like to note I said nothing about the attack.
Yeah.
It was all about the defence there for the Eagles. So with all due respect, I mean, they are playing very well both sides of the ball, but here we go. This time they do break down the defence pretty easily. There wasn't a great deal happening there, but I just counted the numbers, got it 100% right, and the Hornets go in for their third try.
Yeah, probably just comes a little bit of fatigue then. They were unfortunate. The Eagles just kept on having to defend, and they were unable to get up and drive to their box and get some new players on. So a little bit of fatigue probably kicked in then for the girls, but really good play then from the Hornets. They got numbers on that far right side, and they're able to execute, but Eagles just have to keep their heads held high. They haven't had much ball inside their 7, and when they've had it, they've been really good with the footy.
They'll roll it here, the Eagles, about 10 metres into enemy territory as the touch comes up there from Trasler. And now pushed away through Medlin. Medlin, wider still, out towards Collins, and then all the way to the wing. Little bobble in the play the ball, and that will be the turnover, will it? No, they've called play on. So here it comes now for Medlin. Last play here for the Eagles, and this time there's no way they're going to get away with that one.
Yeah.
If that wasn't called, I would be, well, I'm not going to jump off this platform, but I'll bungee jump. All right, let me tell you now, Dean Cameron, I'm afraid of heights as well. So it'd take a lot for me to do that. As Manning picks it up out of acting half. Nice little ball back on the inside, but beautifully read there in defence from Gleeson. Macquarie product, but the Mako Sharks hunting the defensive line there like a shark, and then a little dummy comes across here from Power. Now they open up through Ehlers. Ehlers at pace, plays it nice and quick, but Ehlers, they're going to be pinged here for an incorrect play the ball, I think it is.
I think they just lost count of the touch. I think that was actually the last, and players probably didn't hear the referee or just lost touch of the count, and they wasted a touch then, but Hornets will look to defend, and Eagles will just be working hard, mate. Hornets can't afford to give away any penalties here. They've been defending really well, and it's not what they want. As they drive the ball up, and it's a good run there. And Eagles are trying to look for a bit of good field positioning here as they pass the ball with the hands of 20. It's Flanders, and Flanders plays the ball, and it's in at half. She's going to try to take him on. Referee's called play on. There's a ball into Flanders, and referee's going to call a penalty here. So they weren't able to get the advantage, and referee calling them offside, and it tried to play on, but that's why we'll see the penalty here.
So Flanders will touch it. Of course, the margin's still around about 15 metres away from the line. They'll end up playing it here on the 7. Flanders comes at them hard. Good touch made. Still early in the count. They've got plenty to work with here, the Eagles. They'll roll it back. Morris flings it wider still for Cook. Maxville Falcons player. She's caught midway through the count again. They'll come through Cook. Cook not fooling anyone though. Now they've called at least one player offside here, so...
No, I think he's just going to go with touch. A little bit of miscommunication between the referee and the sideline referee, but the common sense there, and they're just going to award the touch and see what Eagles can do here.
So now they'll drop it down on the last. Flanders out of acting half with players in support. Touch, the dummy comes in, and then a late release, but it won't matter too much. Last play anyway, that is the turnover. With around about 7 minutes to go, they are still in this one, the Eagles.
They've got to keep their heads held high. Their attack has been really good, but they just can't seem to crack that Hornets defence, and Hornets will scramble to get on here.
So Ehlers flings it back towards the middle. Manning, and then nice little in the way move there from Hall, but they read it pretty well. And now Perini picks up good meterage, and then a nice little strike dump too. They launch a raid here and somehow evade the touch. It's play on here for the Hornets. Coming in support is Stella Hall, and I'll tell you what, that is absolutely stellar.
Yeah, Really good initiative then from Callaghan. She knew the players were offside. She just took that nice clean scoop and got it with feet and a little bit of fancy footwork for Callaghan, and nice support there, play there from the Hunter Western Hornets. But it's not really over yet here. Eagles will be loving this tap on halfway. They just got to really work hard and gain some good early meters and have a crack inside their 7.
So Riley Cash was the woman who split them. Did a good job just to pour through the middle, set it up nicely for Stella Hall, and now the Eagles with a fair bit of work to do. They trail by 3 with time beginning to run out here at Tuggerah. They fling it from right to left, and now picking it up out of acting half. They have a little opportunity down a short side here, but it's closed quite quickly from the touch there of Bridie Richards. Now they come back towards the middle once more. Nothing really doing. Radonicus dies with it. And unfortunately, that's been a little bit of the scenario here for the Eagles. Good scramble, but just not asking enough questions down the other end.
Yeah, they're just not testing the Hornets' defence. They're just doing some very one-out stuff. I'd like to see them run a really good play on the line. I think they'll get lucky, and the Hornets are going to look to get some fresh players on here. And they pass it back into Callaghan, and she plays it in at half, and it's a good run there. Channels.
So now Manning pops in. Trasler with support building. It's Young. Young puts down the foot. Oh, I'll tell you what, she's a spring chicken the way she moves. Definitely a case of being young. There's nothing old about that.
Yeah, good trial then from the Hunter Western Hornets. So it was really good play then. They just keep managing to get numbers on that right side. They're just creating that overlap, and it's really working for them. I think they've scored most of their tries in that far right corner, and especially coaching staff Tom Taylor has taught the girls well. And Eagles, they just got to keep their heads held high here. They're playing on the stadium, and there's still a little bit of time left. I'd love to score another try here.
So they'll pick it up out of acting half from Gleeson. Gleeson now on the follow-up play. Comes towards about 10 metres shy of that try line, caught just shy of the 7 by the follow-up play. Gleeson once more. Crabbing across field, the dummy comes in. They don't have a strike dump to work with on the last. Gleeson, the big right foot step. Unfortunately, can't get around the defence, and been very good both sides of the ball here, the Hornets, as they work it up towards that halfway line. Pressure coming in now from Teal, who makes the touch. They're jamming them in nicely up against the corner here, not allowing them to have that expansive play they've been enjoying throughout the match.
Yeah, probably maybe a message that's come from the coaching boxes. Try keeping them on that side, and Eagleton's away, and
she's off here, Eagleton, looking for Ella's in support. Ella's well marked up. Now they find the supporting player, and eventually she gets it to ground. Not before there's a big collision in the process, but that is the 6th try there from the Hunter Western Hornets.
Yeah, really good speed then from Eagleton, and she really got through then, and there was lots of support play from the Hunter Western Hornets. Eagleton had lots of options, but gave it long to an unmarked player, and she was rewarded with the try and got cleaned up after. I hope she's all right. She's got up pretty well, so it's good to see.
Some good conditions here as well at Tuggerah. Most of that early morning dew has already evaporated from the surface. There's a bit of wind floating about. That helps things as well, as they come straight up the guts here through Walker, and Walker plays it quickly, and now they get another good roll there. Pretty heavy contact between both runner and defender on that occasion.
Referee's just happy to call play on, and
Flanders now in an acting half. Flanders for Cook. Cook has a dive at them. They're not on side, I don't think. I reckon Cook's got there. And yes, she has indeed. It's boiling, it's bubbling along nicely. Cook gets the try.
Yeah, good try then. She just knew that the player was offside, and so we'd like to see that dive. Dive at the offside player. Referee nice and loud calls play on, and make it back to the line, and we see the Northern Eagles rewarded with the try then, and see what Hunter Western Hornets can do as time slowly ticks away. And
yeah, not much time remaining on the clock here. The Central Coast Sporting and Recreation Complex is less than 3 minutes at this point in time as the dummy comes in from Perini. Perini plays it 8 away from the try line. Now across for Hall. Already a try scorer today. So too is this woman, Young. And it's a bit of hot potato at the moment through the middle. Young tries to exploit a short side and does exactly that. Beautifully worked. Manning is out there. Try time again for the Hunter Western Hornets.
Yeah, good try then from Manning, and they knew they were going to go that side, and just kept dumping on them players, and it created that overlap on the winger, and good finish there. And we'll see what the Northern Eagles can do. And they've been really promising when they've had the ball up in that half inside their 7, and they've been really strong with it. And their defence has been good. The players are just unfortunately starting to get a little bit fatigued as we start to slowly wind down day 2 here.
So up they come once more here, trying to get another try on the board. They trail by 5, 7-2. Has blown out a little bit in this second half. Unfortunately, that's not the result they want.
They'll play the ball, and it's Callahan, and she'll throw the dummy, and it's fooled everyone. Plays tippy-toe with the sideline, and I think she's gone over the mark. Yeah, referee Atika Scott playing that's over the line, and so see what they can do is they're gonna just been instructed to bring the ball over to the sideline, and that'll be Teal who taps it and looks to play it and goes at the winger there. And at half then's Collins, and Collins passes it to Medlin, and at 15 that's Gleason, and plays the ball then, and Medlin again, and that's Gleason with the ball, and steps one and beats two, and they've got some new players on here. Let's see what the Eagles can do. Is a little bit unorganised here, but good run and quick release, and that's passed in. Last touch, and looks to go, throws it, and touch. Oh, unfortunately, ball down then. Couldn't really execute it then, and Hornets will look to drive and get some new players on, and as we hear full time in the background, and that's Eagleton who will just take the touch there, and good game here that we've seen on the stadium, and both teams played some exciting footy, James.
Certainly did, but at full time, it's a pretty comprehensive performance from the Hunter Western Hornets, who will book their place in the final series. A 7-2 victory. And there's still more terrific action coming your way, so don't go too far, because up next we move to the 18 boys division. It should be a cracker between the Hunter Western Hornets and the West Southwest Suns. All the action coming your way at 10 on the dot. In fact, I should say at 9:30 here. I've gotten well ahead of myself, but stick with us here on Bar TV and New South Wales Touch Football.